The hills of Sikkim and Darjeeling constitute the Sikkim Himalaya, with its winding rivers, cascading waterfalls, and densely forested ridges. This bowl-like mountain girdle state of about 7,325 square kilometers, lying along the slopes of the Himalayas between Tibet and the plains of India, is cut off from the rest of the world by mighty mountains. Sikkim's scenic variety has no parallel in the east. Lush green forests with magnificent old trees hide in their midst pristine blue lakes, the very sight of which is humbling because of its sheer beauty. Lakes like Khechupuri, Cholamo, Memento and Kathok are considered holy by the local inhabitants. Sikkim is full of myths and legends, perhaps because there is very little recorded history prior to the year 1642 AD. This was the year when 3 lamas, on the initiative of Lachun Chempo, the well-known Lamaist monk whose footprint is found in Yoksim, consecrated Phuntsuk Namgyal as the first Chogyal of Sikkim. The huge pine tree behind the coronation throne of the first Dharmaraja is believed to be the walking stick of one of the lamas. The stupa, which stands directly opposite, is said to have been built to stand witness to the coronation ceremony. And it is from this time onwards that Buddhism flourished in this land. The modern history of Sikkim begins with the coronation of the first Chogyal, and since then, over the next 3.5 centuries, Sikkim has witnessed several socio-political changes. It was during the reign of the 12th king, Chogyal Thunduk Namgyal, when this little kingdom signed a democracy merger with India, retaining the Chogyal, however, as a religious leader till his death in 1984. The Lepchas, who were the original inhabitants of Sikkim, called this region Ni Ma El, meaning heaven. The Tibetans called it Denjong, or the Valley of Rice, and the Nepalese named it Su Him, or New Abode. Sikkim, which is now the 22nd state of India, is squeezed between the mountainous kingdoms of Bhutan and Nepal to the east and west respectively. Tibet lies to the north and India's Bengal state to the south. The state of Sikkim is divided into 4 districts, and Gangtok, which is the capital, lies in the most populated eastern district of the state. The most important rivers of Sikkim are the Rangit and the Teesta, which flow from north to south. These rivers, along with their tributaries, cut the valleys at several places and form gorges. Some of the important towns alongside these rivers are Rangpo, Singtam, Namchi, Gangtok, Mangan, Chungtang and Lachung. In fact, the whole of Sikkim may be described as the catchment area of the headwaters of the Teesta River. Apart from its rivers and lakes, Sikkim also has a number of hot springs such as Phutsachu, Rolangsachu, Yumthang and Mome. All these, the winding rivers, the untouched lakes, Sikkim's historical past, mystic religion, sublime monasteries and age-old rituals have an attraction hardly to be found anywhere else in the world. The grandest part of the grandest mountains on earth, according to the Sikkimese people, is the holy mountain Kanchenjunga, which at 8,595 meters is the second highest peak in Asia. It stands omnipresent like a god on a golden throne as the morning glow bathes this mystical peak. The greatest wealth of Sikkim, however, are the forests, which constitute almost 1/3 of the entire area of this state. Due to its humid climate and variation in altitudes at different places, there is an abundance of vegetation of all sorts. No distance can seem too great to be able to come and see such bounties of nature, and it is perhaps with such a passion that Sir Joseph Dalton Hooker, a British plant taxonomist and explorer, undertook the arduous journey which brought him to an almost uncharted destination of Sikkim. Hooker, who was closely associated with Darwin, first reached Sikkim in the year 1848 and spent around a month traversing the terrain. Completely entranced by the diverse species of flora and fauna, he returned to Sikkim in 1849. He made detailed listings of these species in the Himalayan journals. These books are now a part of our collective heritage.
On 3rd May 1849, he again took his strenuous journey, and he again started from Darjeeling, and Darjeeling to Namchi, then Temi, and all the tropical areas. He came down to Singtam, then Chakung, then Chungthang, and he followed the North Sikkim route, Lachen, then Thangu, Donkyala, Cholamo. Then again he came back and he followed the Lachung way, Lachung, Yume Samdang, then Donkyala, Sebula. Actually he came from North Sikkim, from Chungthang to again Chakung, Namgas, Singtam, then Tumlong, Rangpo, Legheb, Barphanchen, Chola Pass, then Gangtok. Then he visited Saramsa, then Dikling, Katong Ghat, Namchen, Kidnap, and finally again he concluded his journey to Darjeeling. That means he started on 3rd May 1849 from Darjeeling, and he concluded his journey in Darjeeling on 24th December 1849.
During his journey, Hooker saw the tropical zones of Teesta and Rangpo valleys, which abound in bamboo, laurel, sal, fig and oak, and the western zone, which has plenty of cherry, laurel, chestnut, maple and birch. Hooker found that the higher altitudes of Sikkim boast of conifers, larches, junipers, amongst the others. Within a brief north-south distance of about 150 kilometers, Hooker experienced the sheer profusion of color arising from over 4,000 species of flowering plants. These range from the commonest of species that can be found almost anywhere in the world to those of the rarest variety. This path that Hooker traveled, discovering the many diverse and beautiful regions of Sikkim, is now famous as Hooker's Trail. On this trail, Hooker came across various plant species which were not known to have been listed before.
Hooker has collected about 3,500 species. Of course, he has collected specimens throughout Sikkim, and he has mentioned in Himalayan journal about the general vegetation. Say in Tasiding area, he could find the tropical forest with say vines, then tropical palms, pepper, wild plantain and pothos, etc. In Yoksam, say it is a beginning of say evergreen forest, and Yoksam to Soka or Jongri Tek, it is right from temperate to alpine zone. So there he could find say laurels, rhododendrons, then wild camellias in Yoksam itself, oaks, that is Quercus species, Casnopsis species, Lithocarpus species. And while going up, say from Bakhim onwards in West Sikkim, you could find the Abies densa, Abies brunoniana, then this rhododendron species, so many rhododendron species. And then lichen, especially mentioned maybe there, lichen geographicus, or now it is known as Rhizocarpon, which is yellow crustose lichens. That is a very characteristic of say alpine zone. So these are the plants he mentioned in general.
Hooker's Trail, also known as Nature's Trail, is for even the most uninitiated traveler like a journey back into the fondest childhood memories. With the cherry orchards, strawberry patches, the fruit-laden peach trees, alongside the lush green cardamom fields.
Whole Sikkim may be considered a nature trail, but so far as Hooker has visited all the area and followed a path. So tourism can be encouraged following the same path because it is a part of history and modern civilization. And at the same time, it can be compared also. The people will come to know that in 100 years before, Hooker has followed the path, and still we people find it is very difficult to visit all the area nicely.
To preserve Sikkim's unique biodiversity for future generations of nature lovers to enjoy, Sikkim plans to develop Hooker's Trail as an attraction for the eco-tourist. In fact, for a biologist, Sikkim is a paradise. In such sylvan surroundings, it is easy to establish a rapport with nature. One is spellbound by the profusion of plants, flowers, trees and shrubs to be found in this area. A variety of species of flowers like the dhatura or the devil's trumpet, magnolias, blue poppies, agelias, pansies, hibiscus, lilies and orchids among the others make any trekking holiday here into a botanical odyssey. The famous Sikkimese rhododendrons are found in altitudes above 12,000 feet and are mostly seen in the northern parts of this state. Orchids by themselves constitute about 494 varieties of the flowering plants of this region. They are considered to be the world's most exotic and fascinating flowers with their extraordinary variety of sizes, shapes, colors and markings. An aura of mystery surrounds them, making them the subject of many myths and legends. Orchids are either epiphytic and live on branches of trees or terrestrial and therefore growing on the ground. A few orchids also live on rocks.
Sikkim is often described as paradise for naturalists, and also sometimes people used to say Sikkim as land of rhododendrons, orchids, and really if you travel from Rangpo to Dongkya Pass, that is the distance of 60 miles, say 120 kilometers from Rangpo to Dongkya Pass, and you have to pass through altitudinal zonation of 2,000 feet to 18,000 feet. And Sikkim has really a unique feature. And if you travel for 120 kilometers from south to north, even we have got altitudinal zonation between 2,000 to 28,000. That is the highest peak of Mount Kanchenjunga. So Sikkim is something like a laboratory. You can get all sort of plants right from tropical to alpine. And we have got tropical plants like sal, palms, and also temperate plants like types of conifers, rhododendrons, and all the trees are loaded with epiphytic plants like orchids. And if you go little above in the alpine region also, we have alpine region is full of rhododendrons, Meconopsis.
As you see the whole of India, in flowering plants we are having about 17,000 species. And out of these 17,000 species, Sikkim Himalaya, that harbors about means 5,000 species of flowering plants, 350 species of pteridophytes, and good number of the bryophytes and lichens. So as you see, the whole of this means biodiversity of the country, Sikkim, that's why Sikkim has been identified as one of the hotspot of area of the country. Now, if you see this means the family-wise, Orchidaceae family, that is orchid family, having the maximum number of the species here, and we are having about 494 species of orchids in Sikkim. Besides this means that is a sunflower family, we call Asteraceae family, that having 280 species, and the Poaceae, that is grasses family, we are having 275 species. This concept of hooker's tail that started 2 years back, even in that we have started, that means this hooker's tail, Botanical Survey of India, by the collaboration of Zoological Survey of India, Botanical Survey of India, Anthropological Survey of India, Forest Department of Sikkim, and Tourism Department of Sikkim. That means it was joint expedition by different organizations to that means for this hooker's tail. And that was the idea to generate the tourism in Sikkim Himalayas.
Apart from the breathtaking profusion of flora found on Hooker's Trail, Sikkim also boasts of some of the rarest species of birds and animals, such as marmots, keongs, and even tailless rats.
Rhesus macaque, that is the monkey, is the most common and is become a rather havoc. And the Himalayan black bear is another species which is causing a lot of problem in the by crop depredation like maize field. Even they are going into the army, you see go-downs, plunge into their ration go-downs. Recently we trapped one species from that area and release again. Then we also have snow leopards in that the trans-Himalayan zone. We have this great Tibetan sheep, and then it's a Himalayan thar, I've forgotten, it's a very endemic species of this region. And then musk deer. Well, trainer population has gone up, though we don't have actual census. If you see the distribution of the red panda in Sikkim, you'll get almost throughout the Sikkim area, except Rangit and Tista belt, that's a low belt. But in all parts we found them. Another species now, the Sikkim has, the pheasants. Like we have pheasants which are occurring above 18,000 feet altitude, like the snow partridge, snow cock. They're very rare species. And if you come down as gradually, you'll see monal pheasants, tragopan, blood pheasants, and then common hill partridge, and then the red jungle fowl, Kalish pheasants. These are very, very flamboyant and lovely ones. Now another interesting part, like Sikkim has a large number of natural lakes which are found in the high altitude area, and these lakes prove as station for the migratory ducks. We receive large number of ducks, like even the rarest species like black neck crane, woodpeckers, pigeons, snow pigeons, and thrushes, red-banded bulbul, quail, cuckoos, and then host of barbets.
J.D. Hooker's fascination with this region comes as no surprise, as even today, Sikkim's beautiful natural environment is unique, both in its diversity and its abundance. But one wonders if the Sikkim that enthralled Hooker so many years ago has changed.
In 1994, Botanical Survey of India along with Zoological Survey of India, Forest Department of Sikkim, then Tourism Department, we all conducted a tour in all the direction, north, east, west and south Sikkim. I have been fortunate enough in participating one of the trail that is in west and south Sikkim. Hooker described the Tasiding area with wild plantain and particularly the palms. While we have visited, we didn't find a single palm there. And again in temperate and alpine zone, of course all those species were there, but the population was not good. And this primula, so many primula, Meconopsis and rhododendron species Hooker has mentioned, but this Meconopsis and primula etc., they are now available, but they are not in plenty and they are confined to certain pockets where people are not venturing.
So time has not stood still, even in this Garden of Eden. Natural and rustic old structures like these bridges of cane and bamboo across turbulent streams that hide within them the warmth of hot springs have now given way to massive structures of concrete and steel. Metal roads and bridges have transported rural lifestyles into the age of urbanization, with the cropping up of cities, towns and kasbahs. Yet the overall picture of Sikkim is still far from gloomy. Coming here, one feels that it is still possible to live in harmony with nature as well as enjoy the conveniences of modernization. The only thing required is the consciousness that a balance must be maintained.
What we would like to define our tourism as ecotourism. What is ecotourism? Ecotourism means that we would like tourists who respect environment and ecology. And that's the type of tourist that we would like to encourage.
Apart from flora and fauna, Sikkim has a lot to offer to anyone who might want to get away from the stresses and strains of daily life. Snow-clad mountains, azure blue lakes, and a weather that, though unpredictable, always seems perfect. Mysticism, religious beliefs, and the unique cultural heritage of this state blend perfectly with the natural surroundings, exuding a sense of calm and quietude. For the religious-minded, the monasteries and stupas of Sikkim make it an important destination for pilgrimage. On a particular day, if one is lucky, one might witness a special occasion when the local people come out in all their finery to celebrate through song and dance their joy of life. So closely are the lives of these people joined to their natural surroundings that most of their celebrations echo the passing seasons. The entire ethos of Sikkim, the color, pageantry, myths and legends, and their coexistence with nature, is most completely reflected in an art form arising out of Buddhist iconography. This form, known as the Thangka or scroll portrait, is as sacred as an image in round. The original inspiration for Thangka has been religious and ritualistic. Much later, non-Buddhist and pre-Buddhist figures began forming the themes of Thangkas, making them an extremely popular art form. Today, a great number of people are gainfully employed in making Thangka paintings, which serves not only as a memento for the traveler, but reflects to the world the very essence of Sikkim. most of the people of Sikkim are experts at the domestic arts of spinning, weaving and dyeing, producing fine blankets, rugs and carpets. Perfectly blended with nature, Sikkimese handicrafts not only display intricate craftsmanship but also the varied ethnobiotic uses of natural products such as wool, bamboo and cane. Household items are made with these with the intention of serving both functional as well as decorative purposes. But forests have even greater, in fact life-preserving gifts to offer. A great number of medicinal plants and herbs found in their thick undergrowth can cure the simplest of ailments, a common cold, and also the deadliest, cancer. Some of these plants that have great medicinal value are Artemisia, Ipecacuanha, Ephedra, and Digitalis.
Among them, one of these Acorus calamus, they are using the underground rhizome of this plant in curing chickenpox, and also they taken this rhizome in raw form as a vocal cleaner. And second thing is one plant specimen belongs to family Gingivaraceae, Campharia sikkimensis, exclusively available in Sikkim. It has got local name Bhui Champa. The underground tuberous stem is used in joint spring.
The early inhabitants of Sikkim loved the solitude of the forest and lived in sympathy with the environment. As times and geopolitical boundaries changed, Sikkim also became a state of utmost strategic importance. Roads and bridges were built to facilitate communication links, which also proved to be important in the overall development of this state. One of the mainstays of Sikkim's economy is tourism. It would be safe to say that at least half of the population living in towns of Sikkim are connected in one way or another to the tourism industry. Unlike Hooker's times, today comfortable hotels suiting various income groups are to be found not only in the major towns but also in far-flung areas like Yoksum, Lachung and Yumthang, making Hooker's Trail more accessible. For the more adventurous, Sikkim has some of the best trek routes in the world. One of the base camps is at Yoksum, which is the starting point of the 3-day trek to Zongri. At various junctures along Nature's Trail, one finds trekkers' huts, and for those who would like to go even further, travel and tour agencies organize extremely comfortable tents with every modern amenity imaginable. To be quite honest, it is difficult to describe the awe-inspiring beauty of Sikkim in mere words. One can only quote the feeling in the words of the famous poet William Wordsworth. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth to me the show had brought.